You're live.
Sorry.
Good afternoon. Welcome to City Council meeting. Happy New Year to everyone. Today is Monday, January 5th, 2026. It's approximately 1 p.m. I am Mayor Eric Enriquez. Before we start, I want to mention that we have an ASL, American Sign Language interpreters up front. And if you all stand, please, and join me in a moment of silence for the brave men and women of our armed forces and also for our local Las Cruces Police and Fire Department, the courageous men and women that protect our city 24/7, 365. Mayor Pro Tem, if you lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll first start out with a proclamation that will be delivered by Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, and then we'll have a presentation after that.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Today's proclamation is for Youth Mentoring Month, presented to Cassandra Gandara and whoever else came with you. Come on down. Hello. Hi, everyone. You can sit over here, wherever you want. Awesome. Love it. Come on down. Okay. Whereas January is National Youth Mentoring Month, an annual campaign to raise awareness of and celebrate the powerful impact of mentoring relationships, recruit new mentors, and encourage institutions to integrate quality mentoring into their policies and practices. And whereas the City of Las Cruces, New Mexico recognizes the contributions of volunteer mentors in the following programs: Doña Ana Resilience Leaders, Kids Can Community Action Agency of Southern New Mexico, the Boys and Girls Club of Las Cruces, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Mountain Region, La Vida Project, AmeriCorps, FYI Plus, and Success Partnership Engage, who link youth to economic and social opportunity while also strengthening our community. And whereas mentoring programs generally have a significant positive impact on youth academic achievement, school connectedness and engagement, and educational success, which can lead to outcomes such as improved attendance, academic achievement, and classroom behavior. And whereas mentors can help young people set career goals and can help connect mentees to industry professionals to train for and find jobs. And whereas effective mentoring of underserved and vulnerable populations of young people help them confront challenges and enjoy improved mental health and emotional well-being, and whereas young people with mentors are more likely to enroll in college, to participate in sports or extracurricular activities, to hold a leadership position in a club or sports team, and to volunteer regularly, and less likely to start using drugs. And whereas mentoring is an innovative, evidence-based practice and uniquely is both a prevention and intervention strategy that can support young people of all demographics and backgrounds in all aspects of their lives. And whereas mentoring has long been a staple of juvenile justice and violence prevention efforts and can offer comprehensive support to youth at risk for committing violence or victimization. And whereas despite the benefits of mentoring, one young person every three is growing up without a mentor, which means a third of youth of the United States are growing up without someone outside of the home to offer real-life guidance and support. And whereas this mentoring gap demonstrates the need for collaboration among the private, public, and nonprofit sectors to increase resources for relationship-centric support for youth in communities, schools, and workplaces. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and City Council of Las Cruces, New Mexico, do hereby proclaim January 2026 as Youth Mentoring Month.
We have some chocolate kisses for you all, red.
Red is the identified color for Youth Mentoring Month. So good, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Bencono and Council. On behalf of our community partners in the Doñana Youth Collective, thank you for recognizing Youth Mentoring Month and affirming your commitment to the well-being of our young people. Mentoring is just not a program. It is a relationship rooted in trust, consistency, and care. For many youth, especially those navigating adversity, a mentor can be the protective factor that changes the trajectory of their lives. Research and lived experience show us that when young people feel seen and supported and connected to a caring adult, they are more likely to stay engaged in school, develop healthy coping skills, and remain safe and drug-free. Through the Doñana Collective, mentors are helping build resilience by creating spaces where youth feel emotionally and physically safe. Using trauma-informed approaches, mentors meet young people where they are, honor their experiences, and focus on strengths rather than deficits. The approach helps restore a sense of agency, belonging, and hope, critical foundations for healthy development. Mentoring is also strengthens our community as a whole. When we invest in positive relationships, we reduce isolation and interrupt cycles of trauma and build protective factors that prevent substance use, violence, and disengagement. Thank you so much for lifting up our youth. We really appreciate you. We have a number of agencies here that work tirelessly on the daily with our youth and doing some really exciting things with our youth. So if you have a youth that needs a mentor, please reach out to us so we can connect them. I'd love for Kids Can and FY Plus and others to share a little bit about what they're doing so that you're informed. Thank you.
Hello, my name is April Christensen, and I'm the founder of Kids Can. I work alongside these amazing individuals to brighten the futures of our local youth. I wanted to say a quick thank you for all that you do as a community to put your arms around our youth and to guide them and to mentor. I know that there's amazing things that are already happening in our community, but I did want to challenge each of us to, as we're looking at our new year, the new year that's here, and you're looking at goals and trying to better your lives, your family's lives, and the lives of the community members, just to look at. Do you have a few hours? Do you have an expertise that you can share with our rising generation? Just take a look at a few. It doesn't take much, an hour a week. Wanted to challenge you to do that and to make our neighborhood and our community a better place. And again, thank you for all that you do. And let's level up for our kids and give just a little bit more. So thank you.
Next, we'll have a presentation from Rochelle with Visit Las Cruces. She'll present on the Balloon Fest.
Good morning, Rochelle Miller Hernandez with Visit Las Cruces for the record. First of all, I want to say hello, Mayor Pro Tem, all the councilors, And welcome, Councilor Munoz and Councilor Harris. It's great to have you here. So I wanted to share a little bit on the balloon rally coming up because this will be the only council meeting, or we won't have another council meeting before the balloon rally. So I wanted to remind everyone that we're having our second balloon rally after a 14-year hiatus. And this year we will be showcasing the Visit Las Cruces balloon. So we're excited. Thank you, Ikani, for your encouragement in getting this rally back and running again. So I'm going to show you a couple photos and then I'll give you some details. For our balloon, we decided, in tradition of our culture, to have the propels attached to the balloon, so when it's flying, they'll be flowing in the air. And as you can see, we had them customized with some of our Visit Las Cruces assets that represent our area and our city. So, of course, the satol is very prevalent. It is not a yucca, it's a satol. And then Roadrunner, if you look back on the other one, it's chili pepper. And then, of course, we have our Visit Las Cruces, New Mexico. Those will be flying. This is the, they had to inflate the balloon to test it and then get the FAA certification. So that's where these photos are from. And then again, you can see our assets on there. And just, and this is a little teaser from the inside, and then we'll have the Zia symbol on the top of the balloon. So that's all I'm going to show you for now. But I do want to remind everyone this was funded 100% by lodger's tax. It has not come out of our general fund, and it is to promote our city, to generate tourism, which greatly impacts our economic prosperity in the city. So just to remind you, it is a free event. It's January 16th through January 18th. It kicks off Friday, January 16th with a RC radio, which is the radio-controlled balloon glow on the plaza downtown from 6 to 8 p.m. We say radio-controlled, but they're about 20 feet high, so they're pretty significant still. Food and drink vendors will be there. And then Saturday morning at Field of Dreams, the ascension will begin around sunrise at 7 a.m. You'll have both the full-size balloons and the RC balloons. A balloon glow will be on Saturday evening. They'll open the gates at 5 p.m. and then the glow should start around 6:30. Again, vendors will be there. Attendees will have one last opportunity on Sunday, January 18th, again with a morning ascension. The media day is Friday, January 16th at 6 a.m. at Field of Dreams. So we'll have a bunch of media coming out. That's where we'll do the official debut of our balloon. And just to let you know, last year, the event generated $829,000 in PR value and had a reach of 29 million. The other exciting thing is we're bringing down the Zozobra balloon this year. If you're not familiar with it, it's, I believe, 135 feet tall. And they're really excited about bringing it down because it's the first time it's come down this far south. So that'll be a great draw as well. And let me think. I think that's about it. I want to thank the organizers, Christine Casillas and John Grunberg, and also Liz Vega and Sergio Salinas with Visit Las Cruces, who've put in a lot of hard work on this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Rochelle. Thanks for all that information. How many people fit in the balloon?
In our balloon, I believe it's 4. We have the pilot, and then we can bring up 3 more people.
Is any counselors get selected to go?
We'll send out something.
Notice I said counselors.
Yes, I did. But we will also, we'll have plenty of photo opportunities as well.
No, sounds great. Thank you. Thank you. Next is Jobs of the Week, Sarah Rainey.
Hello, thank you. Welcome back from the holidays. My name is Sarah Rainey. I am the one-stop coordinator for the Southwest region of the Americas Job Center, New Mexico. For Jobs of the Week for January 5th, we have wastewater collection supervisor for the city of Las Cruces, starting at $60,000. At this time, it's a continuous posting. We also have a veterinary assistant. That one starts at $17.40 an hour, and it is a continuous posting as well. We also have for Las Cruces Dental, a receptionist, starting at $14 an hour, and that posting closes on the 16th. We have a driver and store support for Max Meats, starting at $15 an hour, closing on the 4th. That was actually yesterday, sorry about that. NMSU has an admin assistant, starting at $17.85 an hour. That one closes this week. And an operational assistant at Legacy Care, LLC, right at home. That one is a fairly new company here in Las Cruces, and they have lots of opportunity there for home health care assistants. So if you're interested in that, come talk to us about that company. They start minimum wage to $15 an hour, and that posting closes on the 14th. As always, if you're interested in any sort of career changes, help, any guidance at all, come see us at Alameda Boulevard at our office, or you can look online at employeeNM.com for more information. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Next is Pet of the Weeks with Carol Nielsen.
Happy New Year. I'm Carol Nilsson, Digital Content Specialist with the Animal Services Center of the Mesilla Valley. Our dog of the week is Spike, 93137. From the moment I arrived here, I've been all about people. When you stop by to check on me, I'll come right to the front looking for attention. I also get along well with my kennel mates and love to play. I've got that joyful puppy energy, but with some tasty treats and a guiding hand, I'm learning to channel my energy better. I'm responsive to commands like sit, treat, and come. I can't wait to learn even more with you, so if you're looking for a sweet, lovable companion who's ready to learn, I'm your guy. And our cat of the week, Giorgio, has already been adopted, so we're super excited for him. And currently, we actually have no adoptable cats at the center, so the community is coming on out for our cats, so we would love to see them come out for our dogs as well. And as always, we like to highlight our long-term residents as well. As you all know, the longer dogs stay in shelter, well, animals in general, they oftentimes will start to decline behaviorally, so we really want to encourage the community to come out and adopt. Hulu has now been with us 337 days, Farah 292 days, Maddie 255, Lily 250. All have been previously Dog of the Week. They're all really great dogs, so please come out and adopt them. And for the next 2 weekends, we are going to be at the Downtown Farmers Market from 10 to 1 on Saturday. So stop by our booth, meet our adoptable pets, bring someone who's ready to adopt, and it'll be a good time. And for more information, you can visit our website or follow us on social media. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carol. Next is a conflict of interest. Does any member of the city council, city manager, or any member of the city staff have any known conflict of interest with any item on the agenda?
None.
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 Next is organizational ceremony. At this point, we'll take any nominations, if there are any, for Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Matisse.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate John Munoz.
Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo.
No other nominations? Okay. Christine? You want to explain?
Yeah, so I'll call the roll for Councilor Munoz first. If he gets 4 votes, then he will be the next Mayor Pro Tem. If not, then we'll go on to Councilor Bencomo and do the roll call for that. Okay. So this one is for John Munoz as Mayor Pro Tem. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Harris?
No.
Counselor Cran?
No.
Counselor Munoz?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
No.
And Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. So he got 4 votes, which makes him the next Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, congratulations, Councilor Munoz, as the new Mayor Pro Tem. I'd also like to say to Mayor Pro Tem Bencomo, Councilor Bencomo, thank you. Thank you for your service and for assisting and filling in all those times, and we really appreciate you. And so, thank you, and onward, John. Next is public participation. Will allow up to 3 minutes, no pending litigations, no items on the non-consent. Katrina will be coming up and ushering those that wish to speak. Please remember to speak clearly, state your name, and be respectful. Thanks.
Mayor, City Council, I'm Liz Rodriguez Johnson. Here's a list of the top 6 actions Las Cruces Utilities is taking that we know of to falsely minimize the number of lead or galvanized pipes that should be replaced. All 6 maneuvers violate the lead and copper rule. Number 1, attaching non-lead classification to piping by falsely claiming it was installed after the lead ban when it was actually installed before the lead ban. Inventing non-lead classification for piping with no documented records to justify it. Number 3, inventing non-lead classification for piping without any justification whatsoever. Number 4, falsely classifying piping as non-lead plastic in the inventory report, even though the inspection report shows that piping is actually lead and or galvanized, which must be replaced. Using an inspection technique that looks exclusively at the meter box, a technique which is not capable of finding lead-lined piping or lead or galvanized piping further up the line, both of which EPA says must be accounted for. Leaving half the city out of the inventory and off the inventory map. That's a really effective way of deceptively cutting in half the number of lead pipes that are acknowledged and must therefore be replaced. Every one of these actions by Las Cruces Utilities removes for all practical purposes the affected properties from the list of properties that need piping replaced, which appears to be the city's goal. This is real. This matters. Every one of these decisions by Las Cruces Utilities means that fewer lead pipes are being found or acknowledged than are likely to exist in Las Cruces, a city which has significant portions that were built long before the 1986 lead ban. Every one of these actions is unacceptable and clearly violates the rule. Every one of these decisions has the potential to harm the health of city residents, especially children, unborn children, and seniors. Why is the city manager allowing Las Cruces Utilities to do this? Why is the city council allowing the city manager to allow Las Cruces Utilities to do this? If Las Cruces Utilities is going to such lengths to cover up the true number of lead and galvanized pipes in the city, what else is being covered up? Thank you.
Mayor, council, folks here today, and those watching online, I'm Lynn Moorer. Today, for the start of the new year, I'm going to spell out ways to fix the top 10 fixable mistakes and legal deficiencies related to the city's compliance with the lead and copper rule. Number 10, restore to the online inventory correct installation dates, designations of sensitive populations in disadvantaged neighborhoods, and inspection dates, and revise water hookup locations on the map so they correctly match the property's address. Number 9, replace the worthless disclaimer that pops up on the web page with a message in English and Spanish that explains how the website can be translated into Spanish or other language. Number 8, send out notices to all property owners with galvanized piping requiring replacement, all new customers, and all those with unknown service lines. Number 7, apply for more funding to competently carry out all EPA requirements, enlisting the help of a different city department to double-check the math in all funding applications. Parks and Recreation is filled with friendly people. I'm sure they'd be willing to help out the Utilities Department. Number 6, correct all inventory records so they actually match the inspection reports and include all the connector materials in the inventory that inspections find. Number 5, provide justifications for the characterizations for every single property so people can know why the city thinks a property's piping is galvanized, for example. Number 4, correct the characterizations for all properties so that the justification of installation after lead ban is used only for properties whose installation date is actually after 1986. Number 3, include all properties on the inventory, including all mobile homes, so that every single property in the city shows a water hookup, if it has one, and what kind of piping the city thinks it has. Number 2, sample the tap of everyone who requests it. And the number 1 way to fix the top 10 fixable mistakes and legal deficiencies related to the city's compliance with the lead and copper rule, institute several additional inspection techniques recommended by EPA, including but not limited to vacuum excavation, potholing, snaking a camera up the interior of the pipe, and or digging along the entire length of the pipe exterior so you can actually determine if there is lead lining and or a piece of recycled lead piping placed somewhere in the middle of a service line. And go back and redo all the inspections so far, which just looked in the meter box and didn't use one of these additional procedures. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak, and congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Munoz. Welcome to the council. Same Councilor Harris.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year. My name is LaVon Hart and I'm the director of the Spay and Neuter Action Program, SNAP. We are here today, I am here today.
Ma'am, can you bring the microphone closer?
Sorry.
Thank you.
It's kind of intimidating.
No, you're fine, just so they can get recorded.
I'm here today to provide an update on the Spay and Neuter program that we have going on with the city. As many of you know, we're in our 2nd year of the program with the city of Las Cruces, and we continue to see significant increases in the number of vouchers issued for spay-neuter surgeries for the pets of low-income residents of Las Cruces. As of December 31st, we are seeing an over 50% increase in the number of voucher requests over the same period last year. This is wonderful for the residents of Las Cruces and their companion dogs and cats. I have provided copies of data showing the results of the first 5 months of the 25-26 fiscal year. As you will see, almost 470 cats and dogs have been spayed or neutered, 319 have received rabies vaccinations, and 241 have received microchips. We have already issued over 749 vouchers just in the last 5 months. Yes, our participating vets are very busy, and the SNAP office is seldom quiet. While SNAP is delighted to see the increases in the number of surgeries, vaccinations, and microchips, these increases have led to SNAP expending the funds provided by the city in just the first 5 months of the fiscal year. We are aware that these are tight budget times for everyone. However, without additional funding from the city, it is likely that SNAP will have to reinstitute copays this spring. This is something that the SNAP board doesn't want to do because we know it will impact residents' ability to avail themselves of our services. We are looking for grants and trying to increase donations, and our goal is to reduce the need or eliminate the need for copays. If any of you have ideas, we're open to them. We're looking at being as creative as we can be. SNAP has received a New Mexico State spay and neuter grant for trap neuter release and to increase our outreach to South County. But that doesn't help the residents of Las Cruces directly. We are truly grateful to the City of Las Cruces for supporting our program. It has enabled us to assist a greater number of Las Cruces residents, and we are looking forward to more spays and neuters and happy pets in 2026. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor. My name is Robert Williams. I'm a business owner and a father. I'm here today because there's a lot of economic issues going on that I'm concerned about. And I'm glad that we have people here still trying to get the lead pipe problem fixed. I've been coming here off and on for a few years, and I can't believe we're still a few years in trying to get it fixed, but I know Las Cruces is growing. And so I appreciate them always showing up. Seems like when I'm here, they're showing up, which is good to see that. And I'm glad that it's Kids Month, January. We got a lot of things going on politically with immigration, a lot of things that really messes with my mental health. And, as a student, I'm a student at New Mexico State University, getting my master's degree in business. One of the ways that I kind of keep my head organized is through fitness. And I've been wondering, we're talking about kids this month. What's going on with the skate park? So is this like a project that started and we took funding for something else? Does anybody have any answers why we can't finish it? Because it looks like it's like 80% complete. And it's still locked up. I mean, I think you guys should at least open the gate and let us start skateboarding. So I want to see what's going on. Why has it taken so long? And why does something as simple as that? I know we got parks everywhere. It's free, doesn't cost anything for us to do. And even me at I'm 43 years old. I didn't have a mentor growing up. My mom was a single parent. And that was one of the things that I did to meet other kids, like to have fun. And so I just want to see if anybody can give me any answers as to why it's taking so long. I know we got other things going on, but like I say, can we at least get this one project finished up? Doesn't seem like a big thing. And which construction company is doing it? Is it somebody from Las Cruces? Or do you need an construction company to finish it? What's the holdup on it? Does anybody have any answers on that while I'm here? Mayor? City manager? No?
Yeah, at this time, we're taking public participation, but the city manager, during his comments, will address the issue.
Okay.
Because it is a lengthy answer.
Yeah, okay. All right, and that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you, guys. Happy New Year, and thanks. Bye.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor. My name is Nicholas Talent. First time here, so forgive me if I don't follow all the protocols, but similar to what he was saying, I'm here to talk a little bit about Parks and Rec. We're a town of 115,000 people odd, How many ADA accessible weight rooms do we have in the city right now? Does anyone want to answer that? It's 0. We have 0 weight rooms in a town of this size. I am a passionate racquetball player. That's what I really love. As of right now, we have 0 racquetball courts open to the public. NMSU does, but they're 18 plus. So for the Youth Mentor Month, they're not allowed to use that. That's my big thing. I know it's all because Mearshad is under construction, but why was there no planning with that? Why did we close the racquetball courts at Mearshad the day that NMSU closed their racquetball courts for Christmas break? Like, I don't quite understand that. And then we built the East Mesa Community Center. Why isn't there a weight room in there? There's a outdoor fitness facility, but I mean, if I could do a chin-up, I would do chin-ups at my house. I need equipment. I mean, we always hear about, like, Doñana County is like 40% obese, and we make it so hard to even utilize the resources that we have as Parks and Rec. I just don't understand it. And I've lost 140 pounds going to Mearshad in the last 3 years, and I've just been slowly watching it become more and more and more difficult to use these facilities that we have. I just don't really understand that. The other one, just as I noted while I was thinking about it, I use pretty much a Parks and Rec facility every day if I can. If we don't use them, we're going to lose them, and that's one of my beliefs. So, in the last 6 months, the bathroom at Burn Lake has been open for 1 day when the soccer fields were being utilized, and those porta johns there are like nightmares. Like, I don't understand why this is the case. There must be some reason for it, but I just don't understand it. The racquetball courts at Mearshad are being used for storage. Like, why don't we get storage units or portables outside for the people to work at? Like, the one court has been used for storage for 3 years. This is not a new thing for the construction. It's 2 years before the construction started, it was being used for storage. That's all. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
The first thing I want to say is I am grateful that we are doing it. I'm a big animal advocate.
Ma'am, can you state your name?
Oh, Cindy Haber. And I'm a big animal advocate. I have fostered dogs for probably 20 or more years. In the state that I used to live in and in this state. I've done it with our shelter. I've also done it with rescues. And I'm really pleased that we're getting this spade and neuter thing, that has been enhanced, it's been improved in the last year, and I really do appreciate it. Yesterday, I saw a petition going around, and it addressed some of the issues that I've been very concerned about what's going on at the Mesilla Valley Rescue Center for dogs, animals, pets. And it's about the euthanasia rates. When I first moved here, we did not have the euthanasia rates that we have now. And at that time, I saw posted how many euthanasia rates, how many pets were euthanized on a regular basis. I'm not seeing that now. I don't know if they're not being posted or if I'm not looking in the right places, but I'm not seeing them. I have heard from different rescues, I do keep up with the rescues, that they are having difficulty getting enough notice about the at-risk pets in the thing, that they don't have enough notice to try to place them. And there were a couple that were there was a notice like 2 hours before they were going to be euthanized. We also need something to change, so we will only euthanize animals that have an untreatable and or suffering condition, or if they are at a major, a huge behavioral risk, but not some that have little issues that a trainer could work with, or anybody has worked with trainers. I'll continue this the next week. Thank you.
Mayor, Council, Juan Garcia. First, Regional Center, Aquatic Center, is an excellent, excellent fitness center. This is particularly good for people like my age. It can cater to younger folks too, but it's a great place to go. Happy New Year and congratulations to our new and returning counselors. Best of luck. I woke up January 3rd and switched on the news. The American military had just wrapped up an operation in Venezuela. No reported U.S. and Venezuelan casualties. Minimal firepower used, mostly to keep hostile forces at bay. It was nothing like the chaotic and deadly Afghanistan withdrawal under Biden. Now the former Venezuelan leader is in the U.S. to face trial. And I quote, "Since 2019, more than 50 countries, including the U.S., have refused to recognize Maduro. Maduro leads the Cartel of the Suns, a Venezuelan drug trafficking organization comprised of high-ranking Venezuelan officials." From Pew Research, over 650,000 illegal Venezuelan immigrants reside in the U.S. And where are they coming? Venezuelans have fled their homes due to hyperinflation, severe shortages of food, medicine, high poverty, and a dramatic contraction of its GDP, making basic necessities unaffordable for many. Authoritarian rule, a lack of democratic freedoms and government repression, high levels of insecurity and violence, all under the regime of dictator Maduro and a failed socialist state. Mayor Mandami from New York and Senator Souls, who is a strong admirer of Mandami, might learn from this lesson. So why are we having protests by the left in support of this atrocious dictator? Plenty on the left are experts at spreading misinformation, including the New Mexico delegation, and frankly, quite a few folks in our own twisted, upside-down community. Why? Because of the hatred for the president. On 21 June 2020, Biden stated, and I quote, "Trump talks tough on Venezuela, but admires thugs and dictators like Maduro. As president, I will stand with Venezuela and for democracy," end of quote. I guess those were pretty empty words. Standing by a dictator who has allegedly murdered thousands and nearly destroyed his country is despicable. But many of our friends on the left don't care. Their hatred for Trump supersedes. This is the upside-down world that we live in today. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna Stryker. I would like to congratulate Councilman Harris and Councilman Munoz. Thank you for your willingness to serve not only your district, but your community as a whole. I would like to thank all of the councilors for their willingness to serve. Even if we don't agree, it's hard to be an elected official. Today, I would like to issue all of you, including you, Mayor, a challenge. I would like to ask you to ask yourself, in your heart of hearts, which type of elected official you are. There are two kinds. The one that truly in their heart wants to be a change in the world, wants to help others, and wants to make a difference in the lives of their constituents, their city, their community, through selfless service, no agenda, no behind-the-scene deals, no, but truly service. I've met a couple of you, and I applaud you, and I've listened, learned, and grown from that interchange. The other kind is not here to serve the community or their district or the city of Las Cruces. There is an agenda, self-serving, bigger plans, And it's not about selfless service. It's about the end game, the big picture. Regardless of which you are, my challenge to you, each and every one of you, is to have a town hall, each of you. Some of you have, but all of you. And meet with the city manager, have him arrange for the department heads to attend, give plenty of notice after work for those voters and constituents that have to worry about how to attend a meeting like this. And more importantly, don't talk. Listen. Don't tell everybody how great you are, what you've done, what you're going to do, etc. Ask them what they want, what they need, what are their concerns about. If you truly wish to serve this community instead of yourself, and you want to serve your district and this city, don't talk. Listen. Truly listen. You will not always hear what you want. But unless you actually listen, actually ask your districts, your city's concerns and what they are, how can you serve effectively? Your job is not to serve special interest groups only. Your job is to serve the people of this city. When you were sworn into office, the oath was very easy to understand. I challenge you to show me and all of us in this community in 2026 just which kind of elected official you really are. Thank you.
Hello all, my name is Liz Bennett. I want to start off the new year by welcoming the new City Council members with an urgent reminder and plea as you face the work ahead of you to please carry with you the charge to invest in care, not criminalization. The militarization of civilian life and the criminalization of the human struggle creeps into our city through the targeting of Black and Brown communities, the criminalization of poverty, the use of lethal force in response to mental health crises, and the use of mass surveillance technology like the unsecured AI-powered flock cameras currently placed throughout Las Cruces. I want to acknowledge that there are genuine concerns to respond to around community safety, but how we respond matters. The effectiveness of the strategies we use matters. A take 'em out and lock 'em up approach is ineffective and in fact perpetuates the cycles of poverty, trauma, and discrimination that breed violence in the first place. Historical and empirical data spell out the facts that investing in education and employment opportunities, free, accessible public spaces and services, opportunities to connect with peers, diversion programs, and common sense gun control laws are the types of initiatives that truly prevent harm and promote community safety, particularly among young people. On the contrary, incarceration often increases the likelihood of reoffending and recidivism. I have provided several research articles that go into further detail. It is right here in our own backyards, among our elected officials and community advocates, where we have the most power to act in accordance with our values in the face of the dangerous national and local trends to maximize state aggression. Las Cruces as a community has demonstrated our capacity to invest in each other's well-being, and it is a part of our identity that we must intentionally and purposefully hold on to. Please hold this at the forefront of discussions on how to invest the $11 million of additional annual GRT funds, keeping in mind that the community clearly voiced their support for funding libraries, affordable housing, parks, and trails over the harmful and traumatizing expansion of carceral infrastructure. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Council. Lucas Hernan for the record. It is a new year. It is 2026. And that gives us some statistics to look back on for the year 2025. Police killings were slightly down in 2025. 2024 remains the highest year on the books for police killings. Unfortunately, despite that overall national statistic, New Mexico still led the way as the most deadly state for citizens to be killed by the police in 2025. This city, our city, continues to tolerate a police chief who uses his position for political purposes. I have brought it up multiple times, as have others. It has been well documented. And as of last month, when I spoke, it was unquestioned, right? The event that he spoke at was a political rally by the Republicans held at the school board, not a official state business, but a political rally. And while we all have a right to express our personal opinions, when in uniform, when on the clock, my understanding is that as an employee, the chief is not in a situation where he gets to do that. Later today, and I can't stay to talk about it, and I understand that we're normally asked to speak on these things, but I am on my lunch break. So later today, the city will be affirming an MOU with the cop union to give the cops raises. I oppose this on the grounds that the cops already have the second largest line item of the entire city budget. And when it comes to the percentages, overall, they're the only line item that's over 20%, which means 1 in 5 of my dollars goes towards paying cops. That again, statistically, are the most deadly in the country when it comes to us moving around as supposedly free citizens. I know that there's been consternation at me speaking on this issue. I just want to reassure you, the council, and all my fans behind me that I will be here all year reminding you about this as long as it remains an issue. Thank you.
Vic Villalobos, Happy New Year to Mayor, Manager, new councilors, Chief, Deputy Chief. I haven't been here for a while. I assure you I've been staying busy trying to raise money for the City Council through my taxes, and you are more than welcome to take 2 of my $5 to pay for the police department when you give them that raise, so you're more than happy to do that. I'm here to actually just say we don't always get to be here, but the majority of us, and I say the majority of this city, is in support of law enforcement the way it's done. I actually want to thank Chief Story specifically for the latest Bridging the Badge. I was completely aware of youth crime in our city, and I'm pretty hard to shock. And I got to tell you, when I saw the videos of what some of the youth are doing in our community, I was shocked, and it really surprised me that you have this underlying factor. And yes, things are getting better in many aspects of what we do when it comes to law enforcement. And by the way, I completely support veterans in law enforcement. As a veteran, I take some offense that people don't like the discipline and maybe the support of our country that it created in me, but I think it's a good thing, and I think it's a good thing to instill in our law enforcement and our fire department. I look back at 2 years ago tomorrow, which would be the day that my friend and teammate in search and rescue, Mitch Russell, who was starting his young life, got a new job with the Forest Service where he was going to be maintaining a pack of wild horses, which was his dream up in northern New Mexico and part of Colorado. He had been recently engaged. He came down to visit with me and a few other people. And 2 days after that, he went to Walmart to get some stuff for his grandma, and he saw someone breaking into cars and decided he should intervene, as I would have and many of us would. That person shot Mitch 3 times in the chest and killed him. That person started out as a juvenile. His criminal history was long. It started with just abusing women, and I believe he had a rape charge in there. He'd had interactions with police where he had actually gone into a gunfight with police. He was a known, problem. There was no incarceration for him young. There was also no treatment for him, which I agree, we need treatment for youth, not necessarily just incarceration. And as he grew to an adult, turning 18, that is when he escalated into what he did. That person served less than 6 months because of a judge here in our community who let him go. And so what I'm saying here today is support the chief, support what he wants in Santa Fe, and bring change, because it has to start with our youth. Thank you.
Howdy. I am Lonnie Montgomery, and I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. And I don't think they've done away with prayer, so I would like to pray for you people. Appreciate you being elected, and hope you take care of us constituents, better known as taxpayers. But I want to pray, dear Lord God, thank you for these people that they have decided to serve. And I ask the blessing of discernment and wisdom that they can come to good decisions for everybody within the city of Las Cruces. This I pray in the power of Jesus' name. Amen. And since I can speak on anything, I'm going to take full advantage. Being a former teacher, I'm going to come and as part of my riff-raff report, I would like to do on different things on teaching that some people may have missed out when they were going through schools in this area and other areas. And so I had started with the Constitution of the United States and the beginning of the Christian Republic. The first thing that Ben Franklin wanted to do was pray, so they did. Were they Christians? Yes, they were. William Penn was a Quaker. George Washington was an Anglican. Charles Carroll was Catholic. John Adams a Congregationist. Monroe Anglican. But all were Christians. They believed we were endowed, according to the Declaration of Independence, by our Creator were certain unalienable, and that's God-given rights. Among those are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So why did they break away from George III? He established tyranny against the states. He forbade their government from passing laws without his assent. He dissolved representation. Repeatedly, he made judges depend on his will alone, established new offices to harass the people, and so on and so forth. Kept standing armies among the people without their consent, cut off trade with the rest of the world, imposed taxes without representing the citizens, which we can learn from, and sent Americans to Britain to be tried, suspended the legislature, and abolished the laws. He So we got together and they said they wrote the Constitution, and in the Constitution they have certain amendments that and certain things that people think are in there but are not, but that will be continued on the next riff-raff report. Thank you so much for your time and your patience.
Good afternoon. My name is Derek Pacheco, for the record. I live at 640 South Mesquite in the historic Mesquite neighborhood. My family's been on the block for over 100 years. I'm highly invested in what I'm about to say right now to all of you. to all of you. On Wednesday, September 10th at 9:28 a.m., I asked a sitting city councilor on the bench right here, could we organize a community meeting regarding the nearly 100 flock cameras coming to Cruces? I don't feel good about it at all, to be honest. The response, let me ask Story when there might be another town hall. We are actually touring RTCC tomorrow, so I should have more info then. That never happened. None of that. I'm here today to ask you to bring forward a resolution to cancel the city's contract with Flock Safety, remove the cameras, and require deletion of locally stored data that is not tied to a specific lawful investigation. Before I get into the reasons, I want to briefly explain what Flock actually is, because many people hear the word camera and think it's just another traffic cam. Flock is not a normal camera. It is a license plate surveillance system that automatically photographs every vehicle that passes, records the time, location, vehicle type, color, bumper stickers, and travel patterns, and stores that info in a searchable database. A simple way to think about it, especially for those of us who grew up before smartphones, is this. Imagine if in the 70s or 80s, the city had stationed a police officer on every major road, writing down every license plate, where you were, and when you passed, even though you had done nothing wrong, and then kept those notebooks for months. That's what Flock does, except it does it 24 hours a day, automatically, and at a scale no human could ever do. Now let's talk about why cities across the country are walking away from Flock. In just the past year, multiple cities have canceled or declined to renew their Flock contracts, including Flagstaff, Arizona, Eugene, Oregon, Cambridge, Massachusetts, San Marcos, Texas. These cities have cited concerns about privacy, cost, outreach, and lack of measurable public safety benefit. And those concerns turned out to be justified. Recent investigative reporting revealed that live video feeds and administrative panels from Flock cameras were exposed on the open internet, meaning strangers could watch real-time surveillance footage and access stored data. Cities affected included Bakersfield, California, and Brookhaven, Georgia. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, I'm Jim Wilcox, and today I'm celebrating 5 years of living in Las Cruces, and I wanted to go back and look at some of the great things that have happened since I've been here. This is not an exhaustive list, and it's not in any particular order, but one of the things I want to recognize the council did was the dog spay and neuter ordinance, and we heard about that today, and I think it's a great thing that you've done that, and I think it's going to help a lot of animals avoid the ultimate consequence that some of them see. Also, the TNR, trapping, neutering, and return of cats. When I got here, there was a cat hanging around, and she bred, and I was like, what's going on here, you know? And so then I noticed that she was gone, and this other black male cat was gone for a little while, and they came back with clipped ears, and the little gray female, I enticed her after she got kind of beat up by another cat to come, and she got inside the house, and now she's my indoor feral cat. And I have another guy outside who's got his own kitty condo, and he's got a heater. He won't come in, but he's having a good time out there. And then I rescued another guy who was hit on the street. So that's been a great thing. Also, I wanted to point out the plastic bag ban. When I got here, that was a discussion, and this council at that time passed it. And one of the things we do is not notice what didn't happen. So we don't notice how few bags are now flying around, because when I got here, they were flying around all over the place like it was snowing. And if you go out towards Burn Lake area, that big field out there, it used to be just full of plastic bags. And now you don't see maybe one every once in a while. So try to remember what it was like then. They were flying around, they were in the power lines. Now you don't see them, and try to remember how beautiful, remember that it's great now and what it wasn't so great before. Also, Mira celebration. That is a great celebration. Whoever's putting that on is doing a great job. I got to see everybody bouncing around on this out in front of the plaza. They had great music. They had people in these costumes. It was like carnival. And I was like, wow, this is really great. And this is something that they don't have to pay for. The city picks up the tab, or somebody's picking up the tab, sponsors. It's a great program, and it's great to see you guys smiling, because you know that that's also lots of fun. And then, last but not least, is the weed ordinance, the one you recently passed. Now people know which plants they have to pull out and which ones they can keep because they are native plants. Of course, shepherding that, I like to call it the Wilcox weed ordinance, but that is something that we can just leave for another day. So those are the 5 top things that you guys have done, and I want to congratulate you. It's really great working with you, and I'm going to stay. Even though Eugene was brought up today, my old hometown, I'm still staying. Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name's Jim Hurst. Happy New Year, and welcome to the City Council, Michael and John. Congratulations. It's good to see some new blood. I just have to defend separation of church and state. Some people wrap themselves in ignorance and pretend it's knowledge. It's real easy to read works by George Washington and Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and James Madison and all those guys who we consider to be the founders of this country. Franklin and Jefferson and Madison were deists, as well as Thomas Paine, many others, and they decided to form a government not based on religion, not based on the divine right of kings. Our government is instituted by the people. Not God, us. It's our government. We each answer to God individually, if at all. No government person has the right to tell us what to believe, what not to believe, where to go to worship, or any such thing. They're not allowed to use public facilities to promote religion. They are not allowed to make religious declarations as though they knew something about God because they were elected to office. They simply serve the people, and religion is strictly the people's business, not the government's. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mayor, councilors, new city councilors, and staff. My name is George Pearson, Vice President of Velo Cruces, the local bicycle and pedestrian advocacy group. About a month ago, I was here with the sad news of 2 pedestrian fatalities in our community. Today, we have news on 2 more pedestrian crashes, one resulting in a fatality and the other in a severe injury. We need to actively work towards Vision Zero with actions to improve transportation safety in Las Cruces. Some actions have been taken, but it's working at the speed of government. The Safe Streets for All grant was successfully received, and the RFP for that, I believe, is in process, but I haven't heard a current update on that. This will be a useful tool towards Vision Zero. Also, the city is hosting a bicycle-friendly community meeting on January 14th at 10 a.m. in the Roadrunner Room at Brannigan Library. This is to work towards the city's application for a bicycle-friendly community, and this also works hand in hand in improving safety for bicyclists and pedestrians. All those interested should please attend. There are also a couple of other action items I hope council could direct staff to implement. Joining the Vision Zero network should be done. There's no cost to the city, and this could be done perhaps by resolution, setting out city policy to accomplish this task. There's also another practical step for a current construction project. The University Avenue multimodal project currently under construction is designed with 12-foot travel lanes, except where it is right-of-way constrained, where 11-foot travel lanes are used. Narrower travel lanes are known to help reduce travel speeds and improve safety. There is a peer-reviewed academic paper from Johns Hopkins with this conclusion, and also guidance on the FHWA website recommending narrower lanes. Most of the 12-foot travel lane in the project are inside city limits. My ask is that City Council direct staff to formally contact NMDOT and ask that 11-foot travel lanes be used for the entire length of the project. Thank you.
All right, next is the acceptance of agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
This is on the motion to accept the agenda as presented. Councillor McClure?
Yes.
Councillor Matisse?
Yes.
Councillor Harris?
Yes.
Councillor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councillor Coran?
Yes.
Councillor Munoz?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. So the first item is 8.1, a public hearing required for resolution number 26-083.
Move to approve.
Second. I take it back.
I take it back too.
We have to do the public hearing first.
Okay. So public hearing is now, public hearing is now open at 2:12 p.m. Is there anyone here for or against the issuance of this license? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed at 2:12 p.m.
Move to approve.
Second. Again.
Go ahead, Ed.
Thank you, Mayor. Adam Ochoa, Community Development, for the record. Before you, we have another, the first liquor license of this year. It's a proposed liquor license for a proposed new restaurant known as LA Hot Pot and Barbecue LLC, which will be located at 840 South Telshire Boulevard, formerly the old Genghis Grill, if everybody is aware of that. This is pursuant to New Mexico state statute. An application for a liquor license is required to be submitted to the state of New Mexico first, who then require the city to provide the recommendation for that liquor license. So this is an application that was submitted to the city by the state for a approval of a restaurant type A beer and wine liquor license. It's actually license number BLA 00000014270 with on-premise consumption only. The ABC, or Alcoholic Beverage Control Division, did send preliminary approval to the city on November 3rd of 2025, which began the process for staff to route out for review to all interested parties, including the fire department, police departments, traffic departments, so on and so forth like that. Request was needed since there is a 45-day cap that we have to get this done. Staff did reach out to the state, to the ABC, and they did approve that extension of for a hearing. Like I said before, all the application was sent out for review to all reviewing staff, and they saw no issues with the proposed application. Here is that proposed location for that LA Hot Pot and Barbecue. Like I said, the old Genghis Grill. Mall here, Telstra right here, just to give you an idea of where this is located at. So your options today, council, is 1, to vote yes and approve the proposed liquor license, or 2, to vote no or deny. The ABC will be notified of the vote, and the application will continue through the process through the state of New Mexico, where they'll finalize their process with us for their business license and their city liquor license as well. That is the conclusion of my presentation, and I stand for questions.
All right, thank you, Adam. Is there any questions? Adam, that previous location did serve alcohol before, right?
Mayor, I believe it also had the same license. It was an older one. They just called it a beer and wine only liquor license. State of New Mexico has updated their slew of liquor licenses they provide now. But yes, sir, they did serve alcohol there as well before.
All right, thank you. Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-083. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Harris?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Counselor Cran?
Yes.
Counselor Munoz?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Next is item 8.2, resolution number 26-084, a resolution approving a MOU with the Las Cruces Police Officers Association.
Move to approve.
Second.
When you're ready, Jose.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Jose Vargas, Assistant Director of Human Resources, for the record. Today I'm going to be presenting to you all the Police Collective Bargaining Agreement, the Memorandum of Understanding. So just to give some background information before we get to the MOU itself, City Council approved the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Las Cruces and the Las Cruces Police Officers Association on October 3rd, 2022. The term of the CBA was through October 3rd of 2025. So some preliminary information that's going to kind of relate to the slides. Section 47 of the CBA states, this agreement shall remain in full force and effect and shall not expire until a successor agreement is signed. Section 45 of that same CBA states, the employer and the association may, upon mutual agreement and negotiation, place in effect a memorandum of understanding which may change provisions of this agreement or address matters which may become issues of mutual concern from time to time. The City of Las Cruces submitted an MOU to the union in accordance with Section 45 of the CBA. So some details on the MOU itself. So the MOU included a 5% pay increase for all commissioned represented staff. It also included a 3% increase for all non-commissioned represented staff, and a proposed revision of Section 47 of the CBA, which is on the next slide. And this MOU was signed by the union on December 2nd, 2025. So just for some transparency and some easy visibility here on what it is that we are recommending to be revised, it is simply just the expiration of the contract. We struck through what it's had before, and we are proposing to do October 3rd, 2026 for the expiration of the contract. During the term of this agreement, the employer and association may reopen any provision of this agreement upon mutual agreement, and that's just part of that section there. And with that said, I will stand for any questions.
All right, thank you, Jose. Any questions? Mayor Pro Tem Munoz?
Mr. Mayor, City Councilors, on the pay, is that, and Mr. Vargas, this question is for you, is that pay going to be retro, or is it from December to December, or is it October? I'm just trying to understand the...
Yeah, no, not a problem. So on the MOU itself, it states that it'll take effect the first full pay period once it's been ratified by council. So if everything goes through today, it would take effect January 11th.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Matisse?
Yeah, I just had a ranking question. You know, being the second largest city in New Mexico, where do we stand on the pay in comparison with the ranking, let's say, with other cities?
Yeah, so from studies that we did back in September as the latest information, we're currently 15th in the state when it comes to pay.
What number was that?
15th.
Okay.
Councilor Bacone?
Thanks. And just to follow up on that question, do you have data on like the discrepancy between 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15?
I do have some data. So as of September, in order to break into the top 10, we're about $1.50 off an
Okay,
hour for
thank
police
you.
officers. Mhm.
And then can you just also talk about sort of the other benefits that are included in this? I don't know other cities, right? But in terms of our insurance and things like that.
Yeah, so in terms of like retention things that we have.
Yeah.
So we do have some incentives with PD as well. Depending on the degree and depending on background, we do have, I believe it's up to 25,000 for some of our incentives. And then in terms of benefits, we do have 82% of employer paid benefits for medical and for dental. We do have tuition reimbursement, and then for para, we do have a para pickup plan where we do pay a percentage on the employee's behalf for their retirement as well.
And on the 82%, just for the public to clarify, the city for insurance benefits pays for 82% of.
Correct, yes, absolutely. So when it
cost.
comes to that benefit, out of the 100% of the pie, the city pays for 82% of that.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Were there any members of the public that wanted to speak to this? Okay, we'll give you 2 minutes.
Juan Garcia. When I heard 15 in the state, it's pretty sad. And yes, thanks to the counselor over here for bringing up the benefits and everything else, and I certainly appreciate it. But with the high level of crime that this city has, 15, I mean, that's pretty sad, council. Hopefully, you will revisit that number to make sure that our officers are well compensated in order to attract them and help address the issue that we currently have in Las Cruces. Thank you.
Seeing no others, Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-084. Counselor McClure?
Yes.
Counselor Matisse?
Yes.
Counselor Harris?
Yes.
Counselor Bencomo?
Yes.
Counselor Coran?
Yes.
Counselor Munoz?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is resolution number 28-085, a resolution authorizing the city of Las Cruces to accept grant awards for various city departments.
Move to approve. Second.
Good afternoon, Mayor, councilors, city staff, community members. My name is Gabriela Prats. I'm the city's grant manager, and I bring before you a resolution to approve budget adjustments in this fiscal year for 22 grants. So you're bear with me today. It's going to be long. We are, in addition, we have a couple of grants that are not capital outlay, but the remaining is most of the capital outlay grants that we received from the state for this fiscal year. The first grant, excuse me, is made to the city manager's office organizational support and to be implemented by Public Works. The funding is through the capital outlay program at from the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration in the amount of $297,000. It's for planning, design, construction, and improvement of buildings and park facilities throughout Las Cruces with a focus on enhancing accessibility for all community members. The next is a grant made to the fire department and to be carried out with assistance from the Public Works Department from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in the amount of $3 million. Please note that this is congressionally directed spending. It's to plan, design, construct, furnish, and equip the integrated healthcare building. Of course, with this is one of of a couple of grants for this particular project that you'll see, which aims to improve care and outcomes for those in crisis. The next grant is also for the Mental Health Crisis Station, or MIH. This one is capital outlay from the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration in the amount of $5,500,000. This is also to plan, design, construct, and outfit a new facility to serve as a base for the mobile integrated healthcare mental health crisis response and critical interventions teams. Next is a capital outlay award made by the New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration to the City Manager's Office Housing and Neighborhood Services Program in the amount of $792,000. It's to plan, design, and construct and expand a 50-unit housing project as part of the Mesilla Valley Resource Campus known as Amador Crossing. The next grant is a capital outlay grant from NMDFA to the City Manager's Office, Housing and Neighborhood Services, and with the assistance of Public Works. These are for improvements to the Mesilla Valley Resource Campus. In this particular case, it's to support the design, engineering, and construction of roadway and pedestrian improvements at the campus. The next grant is made to the City Manager's Office Airport. It is from the New Mexico Department of Transportation Aviation Division. This is the third amendment to the Rural Air Service Expansion Program, or as we call it, RAISE. It's an additional $1 million, which brings our award to a new total of $5.5 million. It requires an additional match of $110,000, and so the total match amount for the project will be $605,000. This is to support regional air service transportation from Las Cruces International Airport to Albuquerque Sunport, and from the Las Cruces International Airport to Phoenix Sky Harbor. The next is the reauthorization of a capital outlay grant to the City Manager's Office Airport Department in the amount of $22,672.44. This is to complete the planning, design, construction, and renovation to include outfitting of the terminal building, infrastructure improvements, landscaping, and parking. This is what remained from the grant that they will allow us to finish off. The next is the it's the annual allocation of funds from the New Mexico Department of Transportation to the Mesilla Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO. This year's state and planning research allocation is for $56,000 with a match of $14,000, and this is to implement the traffic count program to include data collection and processing of that data. The next is also to the Metropolitan Planning Organization, but this is for their operations, also granted by the Department of Transportation. The total amount is $106,531 with a $26,633 match, which is split up between the city, Doña Ana County, and the town of Mesilla. The purpose is to fund the operations as required by Federal Transit Authority Section 5303. The next is a second amendment to the HIDA award for this fiscal year. This is awarded to Metro in the police department, and it is granted directly from the Office of National Drug Control Policy. As of this fiscal year, the award's coming directly from the feds to the city instead of through New Mexico HIDA. This particular amendment reduces the award by $318, and they're adjusting and the awarded amount for rental fees. Our new award amount is now $602,029. The next is an award to the police department from New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration capital outlay program in the amount of $1,782,000 for the real-time crime center. It's to support the installation of surveillance cameras, traffic monitoring systems, and network upgrades, as well as any necessary infrastructure that may be needed to properly install the equipment. The next is also a capital outlay grant from NMDFA to the police department in the amount of $620,000, and this is to purchase and outfit emergency response vehicles. And the next grant is also capital outlay to the Parks and Recreation Department in the amount of $100,000 to construct improvements to park facilities focusing on increased visibility by providing additional lighting, focusing on safety of users. The Lift Up project that's a typo. The Lift Up project is the next grant awarded to the Public Works Department by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in the amount of $1 million. This is also congressionally directed spending. It's to replace, upgrade, and provide modern public transportation and utility infrastructure. The site is still to be designated. This is a capital outlay grant for the active transportation improvements to be completed by the Public Works Department. The grant is in the amount of $400,000. This is to acquire land and rights of way, as well as to plan, design, construct, and improve infrastructure projects outlined in the Las Cruces Active Transportation Plan. Next is an award to the Parks and Recreation Department that to be implemented with the assistance of Public Works for the East Mesa Recreation Complex in the amount of $693,000. And this is to continue the improvements that are already underway there, to include furnishing, equipping, and outfitting the facility. The next is also capital outlay for the Public Works Department in the amount of $200,000 for the street lighting systems improvements project. This is to plan, design, construct, and install adaptive street lighting control systems to include intelligent lighting controls and address lighting gaps to enhance safety and accessibility. The next is an award made to the Quality of Life Department Libraries Program from the New Mexico State Library. It is their annual allocation of grants in aid. The amount of the award is $20,000, and it is to supplement and foster local efforts in providing library services. This particular grant gives the library staff a pretty wide allowability of expenses to support the needs of the community and its library users. The next is a capital outlay grant for the Quality of Life Department Museums Program in the amount of $445,500 to improve the Museum of Nature and Science. These renovations will include improvements to the animal care areas, the staff workspaces, exhibits. They want to improve lighting in the museum and some drainage and AD accessibility issues that they have, as well as to improve some of the signage at the facility. The next is capital outlay awarded to the City Manager's Office Transit Department. The New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration awarded $100,000 to plan, design, and install inductive charging stations at the Mesilla Valley Intermodal Transit Terminal. This will allow for buses to be able to run longer on one charge. Another capital outlay grant awarded to the Quality of Life Department Libraries Program that will be implemented by the Public Works Department is the renovation of the Brannigan Memorial Library. The award of $970,000 has two purposes. One is to plan, design, and construct the renovation and expansion of the library itself, and also to purchase and outfit a new bookmobile to serve Las Cruces and Doña Ana County. So in areas where people may not have direct access or quick access to a library, this will allow the library and the other quality of life programs to come to them. There's also an adjustment to the vehicle acquisition list, so I will cede to Mercedes Tomeka for her to address this.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of City Council, Mercedes Tomeko for Fleet Services. So we've updated the vehicle acquisition program to add the bookmobile for quality of life that is approved through this legislative funding. This will be a custom build by Matthews. It'll also have areas for museums and other quality of life programs so that they can bring all of their services to the surrounding area.
That concludes our presentation, and we stand for questions. Department directors and assistant directors are here to answer any specific questions you may have on any of the specific projects.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions by council? Yes, Councilor Harris.
Thanks. I have, that was a lot of things, so I have a handful of questions. I guess first is a comment. I had some people in town who are visiting, and they had very positive things to say about the museums, so I'm very happy to see that we're getting some more grant funding for those. So I guess first question is on the inductive chargers for the buses. If I remember correctly, we had talked about doing that some time ago, and the project was kind of being held up by needing a battery or something from EPE. So is this like for a first phase of the project, or did we figure out how to get it done for that $100,000, or is that a question for Richard?
I think that would be a question for Richard, sir.
Okay.
Counselor, because there was some hiccups with the funding.
Right.
And it was funding that was awarded and then taken away, and then they changed the RFP. So there has been quite a bit of upheaval at FTA, not necessarily with us.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I understood that there was like two parts of it, and they lost some. Okay, so that's good. I would love to see that move forward. And then curious about the pedestrian and roadway improvements related to the Community of Hope. What does that look like? Is that improvements on Amador? Is that inside the facility?
It's actually on the street, but I think that Natalie Green, our housing administrator, would be much better equipped to explain that.
All right, thanks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Harris, Natalie Green for the record. The project is on Amador. It is one, moving the pedestrian crossway further west, and then also adding a hawk system. As you know, the pedestrians cross that street often, so it'll add the hawk will be closer to the trail, Armijo Lateral, and Amador Crossing Apartments.
Okay, and then I actually got a comment from a resident about the area. I don't know if it's related to that, but since I'm thinking about it, wanted to pass it on that the signals on Compress are not ADA accessible, the buttons. So I don't know if that can be fixed also, or added to this kind of thing, since it sounds like it's pedestrian improvements.
That would definitely be something that we'll pass on to Public Works.
Cool. Okay, third question. Integrated healthcare building. I'm new, so I'd love some more details about that, and what the plan for that is. And
Okay, so the fire department has identified station number 3 as the location where they would like to build the MIH building. The MIH building is a central location for 2 projects, Project Light and, oh my God, I always forget the name of the other one.
MIH.
MIH, thank you. My brain's not working yet. Still on vacation. And the staffs there provide services not only when they go out on calls, but also they provide continuing services such as counseling, support to the community. And it's a nice location that's easily accessible through public transportation. So that's partly why they chose that particular site. The building needs quite a bit of work. It's in a state of not great repair. And so the funding for all of this is not only to just improve the building, bring it up to code, but also to furnish it, equip it, so that staff will have a central location from where to operate. Not sure if you're aware, but the fire department's administrative offices are pretty much at capacity. So this is a very needed project.
Okay, so this is both for staff and for members of the public to go and receive those services?
That's specifically for people who are in crisis, and usually that is folks that have been affected by crime that may have been serviced by police or fire.
Right, sure. Okay, and then 2 more questions. What kind of improvements are required to the airport, if any, to support the Phoenix route? Since that's interstate, that seems like, I don't know, do we need like TSA to set up with something or?
Councilor, no, but I think David Cedillo may be better able to answer those questions.
Mayor, Councilor Harris, David Cedillo, interim assistant city manager. So there are not other requirements. The grant itself provides the funding for that. Is the rural service air flight that is going to be provided. We're just changing the route.
Okay. All right. And then the final question I have is maybe if there were some more specifics on what the real-time crime center upgrades were proposed to be, in terms of bandwidth. Are we running a bunch of new fiber out to traffic cameras? What are we talking about for that project?
Councilor, Mayor, I think Chief would be much better equipped to answer the details.
Jeremy Story, Police Chief. Good afternoon, Mayor and Councilor Harris, welcome. Right now, we're still figuring that out. We're working with IT and Public Works to figure out what infrastructure we have and what we need to do to improve that. So there is a possibility that we lay additional fiber, although that money will not go very far if we do that. So we're looking at broadband options and how we can make the most of that money that we have. But there's a few different things at play right now. The goal is to actually increase the infrastructure that we have in the city, which right now is kind of a hodgepodge, and to plan out for the future a little better.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. That's all I had written down. Thanks.
Councilor Bencomo.
Thank you so much for the presentation. You did great, given that was so long, especially your first day back from vacation. On page 15, you had mentioned the lift up site, that the site was not identified yet. I'm curious if you could explain that a little bit more. Is that funding going towards changes in the current lift up site that has been identified, or are they set for a new identified lift up?
Councilor,
Thank
Natalie's
you.
better at that one.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Councilor Bencomo. The lift site has been identified. It's actually Sacramento, so it's the original Lift Up Neighborhood 1, and it's for planning and design for improvements to Sacramento Road.
For what to Sacramento Road? I'm sorry.
Sacramento Road, near the Apodaca Park, so it's in District 1.
And then what is it going to be, Natalie, like lighting updates?
I don't
actual
think
infrastructure.
I'm going to defer to Public Works, see if I think it's road resurfacing and possibly street lighting, but it's been a while since I've looked at that. In fact, I'm trying to pull it up.
Good afternoon, Jimmy Moreno, Public Works for the record. Mayor, Councilor Bencomo, Sacramento currently is in 90% design. So it'll be improvements, roadway improvements, street lighting improvements, other ADA improvements throughout that corridor. So we're looking to bid that near summertime for that one. So it's coming up pretty quick.
Yes, thank you so much for that update. I just wanted to say, over the holiday break, I saw a great article in the New York Times about Philadelphia and how they've used similar programs like this to reduce crime by beautifying neighborhoods. And it seems so simple, but it is so effective. And they talk about how effective it has been in Philadelphia. And so I just want to lift up that our Lift Up program is evidence-based, and that it's just a good idea to continue to do this. So thank you, staff, for continuing to make that a priority. Given the information you had on the active transportation plan, Mayor, I would love to request a work session on that. I'd love to know updates on the active transportation. I'd love to know how this kind of funding is being spent and where there are gaps still. I think that's a really important conversation we need to be having right now. So that would be my request. And then just lastly, for city manager, I feel like there has been quite a shift in the way that legislators are talking about capital outlay in terms of accountability. And I think just the uncertainty there is at the state level with, funding and revenues and things like that. And I think they're going to start looking at capital outlay much differently. And so I just want us to have that at the back of our minds, and perhaps even have, I don't want to add a lot more on staff. I don't want to say quarterly updates, but I would love, I think, more consistent updates, just so that we are also better stewards of that message with our legislators in terms of how we are good stewards of that money and are spending it wisely. Thank you.
Councilor Matisse.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could go to page, I believe, 14. And then if I could have maybe, it would be the Parks Director that could prioritize something for me.
Representative?
I just wanted to get it on the record. I've had residents of, and I think I discussed this with you already, Stephen, on Solopec Park. We had that homicide there in that park, and there's about 15, 20 neighbors that have been asking for increased lighting. Is there something maybe you could do with this money and go over and say yes to them?
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, we had a purpose for this money identified.
Could you repurpose it?
What's that?
Repurpose that?
Let me get with my staff and see.
Okay.
What we can do, but we are aware of your request and have been trying to discuss it internally and weigh it against a lot of different requests, and we will put something forward in the budget proposal for City Council to consider among numerous parks projects for this coming budget year.
Okay, thank you. And whatever support from the mayor and council, I'd appreciate it as well, and city manager. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thank you.
Mayor Enriquez, Councilor Matisse, I just wanted to share quickly, and then I'll turn it back to Gabby. At the budget retreat, we'll talk about GRT allocations, and so if this is something that you'd like to bring up as well, this can be a priority from you, and if there's consensus, we can move that way as well. Just wanted to share that avenue. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-085. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Harris?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Munoz?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. Next is item 8.4, resolution number 26-086, resolution authorizing an update to the vehicle acquisition program.
Move to approve.
Second.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of City Council. Mercedes Tomeko for Fleet Services. I am here to present a resolution requesting approval of updates to the Vehicle Acquisition Program for the fiscal year 2026. Fleet Services has received updated quotes for 2 vehicles previously approved during the fiscal year 2026 budget process, and both updated quotes exceed the originally approved amounts. In addition, 1 new vehicle has been requested for inclusion in the Vehicle Acquisition Program. All departments have sufficient funds within their current budgets to cover the updated costs as well as the requested addition. To comply with city procurement requirements for rolling stock acquisitions, city council approval is needed before these purchases can move forward. The Public Works Department was originally approved to purchase 2 Elgin Broom Bear street sweepers to replace existing Johnson sweepers. The approved amount for these replacements was $416,331. Updated quotes now reflect a total of $421,667. Updating the vehicle acquisition list to this new amount will allow the purchase to proceed. Replacing the existing sweepers will improve street maintenance and reduce ongoing repair costs. The additional funding required is available within the current Public Works budget. The Fire Department was originally approved for $36,000 to replace a Ford Taurus with a Ford Maverick. The department is now requesting to update the replacement vehicle to a Ford F-150 Lightning, which more effectively meets operational requirements and moves the city forward in its electric vehicle goal. To move forward with this order, the vehicle acquisition list must be updated to reflect the new cost of $61,460. The additional funding is available within the Fire Department's current budget. Housing and Neighborhood Services is requesting approval to purchase a new Ford cargo van for the Mano a Mano program. This vehicle will support the street outreach team by retrieving donations and assisting with relocating individuals from illegal encampments. Funding for this purchase is already available within the department's existing budget. In summary, this resolution updates the vehicle acquisition list to reflect current pricing and departmental needs, ensuring compliance with procurement requirements and allowing these essential vehicle purchases to proceed. Standard council options apply, and I will stand for questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Munoz.
Mr. Mayor, City Councilors, electrification is of interest to me, whether it's buildings or vehicles. I was wondering if you have, if not, if you can get that to me later, what percentage, where are we to goal, or what percentage of vehicles are in the mix as far as electric?
So currently, we're about 6%. That's electric and hybrid. We are in the process of trying to move forward in purchasing. Manufacturer availability has been one of our issues, so we are looking at different manufacturers currently so that we can bring in more electric vehicles.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, Christine?
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-086. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Harris?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Coran?
Yes.
Councilor Munoz?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. Next is item 8.5, resolution number 26-087, a resolution approving a reimbursement agreement between the City of Las Cruces and New Mexico Valencia.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of City Council. Let me open this presentation.
Hold on.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, when you're ready.
apologize, I have the worst vision on earth, so give me a second. There we go. Today, I am bringing forward a reimbursement for a neighborhood park. As many of you know, reimbursements for neighborhood parks are going to become less commonplace because of the adoption of Realize Las Cruces. However, today what we're talking about is something that was approved in advance of the adoption of that code, and I'll speak a little bit more in detail regarding that. First off, I think everyone knows the value that parks bring to our communities. They create gathering places, they improve health, they also improve property values as well as improve safety. This particular reimbursement is for the Arroyos at Settlers Pass, which is an ongoing development. With the previous land use code, not Realize Las Cruces, there wasn't a particular requirement for park dedication and construction. And so generally parks, neighborhood parks in particular, were negotiated as part of the master plan process or PUD developments. And the owner of these would build these parks, they would dedicate the land, and then staff and the city would ultimately reimburse the developer for the cost of building that park using the park impact fees. This particular subdivision is Arroyos at Settlers Pass, does have a master plan, and phases 1 and 2 were all adopted and approved under the old code standards, making this particular process in terms of reimbursement a viable option for this particular development. The park that is being developed currently was negotiated during the master plan. This master plan was actually approved in 2022. Phase 1 was also approved in 2022, and then that plat was recorded in 2024. And then phase 2 of this particular subdivision was approved in 2024, has yet to be recorded, however. Again, the park that's being developed as part of this is subject to reimbursement. To provide a little bit more information about the location of the subdivision, if you all are familiar with Rinconada Boulevard as well as Settlers Pass, this is sort of sandwiched in between and is north of the Rincon Hills subdivision. And you can see that this is in District 5, and the park in question is sort of located right here. This is a neighborhood park. This particular park, we worked with the designer and the developer to come up with a design for this. It's a little over 2 acres, turf, playground, swings, landscaping, site furnishing, just a lovely place for people to recreate. The park impact fees collected as part of this particular park are interesting. We have in phase 1 a collection of $2,600 because of course that's recorded and is subject to the old park impact fees. However, phase 2, having not yet been recorded in the county clerk's office, is subject to new park impact fees. So if you recall, these are on a sliding scale depending upon the size of the unit, ranging anywhere from the low $2,000 to $5,600 depending upon the size of that unit again. Based on my calculations, looking at the total PIF that could possibly be collected for this particular park, it's between $481,000 and $812,000. This subdivision, both phases, is 205 residential lots, and that's what the park will serve. And the reimbursement calculated as part of this agreement again, before Realize Las Cruces was adopted, was $533,000. Now, this particular number, we cannot exceed that number, and of course it's going to be based on real costs that were incurred as part of the development of this park, and then we receive those, and ultimately that's how we reimburse this. Just so that you all have some visuals on what this park might look like, you can see an overall concept of this park with a turfed area, the landscaped area. You can see right here, that is where the playground is located in that circle, and then of course swing sets, and then just a nice layout of what that playground and swing sets might look like as it's being developed. Now, I know this was somewhat confusing, especially with the difference between how we're proceeding with new park developments, and of course this is sort of one of these holdovers from our previous code. Again, it's probably going to be one of the last ones that you see. But your options today are to vote yes to approve, vote no to deny, vote to amend, or vote to table. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And the representative for the developer is also here, Marty Pillar, to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Catherine. Any questions? Councilor Corinne?
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm sure you knew that I would have some questions, which you've already sort of gotten to in some of your discussion. But I was just wondering, I had a couple of just clarifications or sort of things that I was curious about. One, it was the size of the park, which is under what I think we expect for neighborhood parks. But I did also notice in the documents that there were a bunch of other sort of swaths of parkland that might be related to this. And I guess both for my own sort of interest, I understand the context of why we expect neighborhood parks to be larger, but why smaller parks are sort of problematic in the scope of sort of taking care of them as the city takes over. And the other swaths on that image are very small. So I was curious if you could talk a little bit about that overall picture of where those greens, I would call them greens, I assume that they're just green spaces kind of things are. And then also, I know that there's a new development that's happening right now, and you alluded to the park impact fee structure that will be part of, but I just wanted to double check on the future parks that are coming. I know the neighborhood is really worried about a number of things, traffic, but I think they're also hoping for robust sort of trails and spaces for folks to be outside. So I hope you can talk about the bigger context for future developments and then why this is sort of in this odd space. And just generally from my new colleagues on council, it is, I think we did have a serious conversation about this idea of 2 versus 3 acre parks. And I think we were really intentional in setting that bar a little bit higher. I understand the context of this, but I just want to sort of reassert that I would really like us to make sure that we're putting things at the 3 or higher realm. So that's it. Thanks.
Councilor, members of City Council, hopefully I can answer all of your questions. I am going to go to another visual so you have a clear idea of what we're talking about. I would like to point out again, only phases 1, which is down here, and phases 2 have been adopted as part of a master plan. Any of these other phases that you see sort of on the left-hand side of the screen have yet to be approved, but they are conceptual in nature. In the long-term discussions, there was a discussion to actually add an additional acre to this 2 acre park, to have a 3 acre park. Additionally, we've had a lot of discussions, again, with the design professional and the developers about making sure that all of the other park spaces are connected in some sort of way to a trail system. One of the exceptions that we have in Realize Las Cruces for future park development is that we can consider sites that are less than 3 acres in size, in so long as all of their parts that are connected, i.e. a trail system and maybe some parklets and a larger park, are at least 3 acres serving a neighborhood, if that makes any sense. And in this particular context, that's ultimately what we've discussed and what we envision. Again, it's up to the developer to move forward with an amendment to the master plan to add those additional lands and then, of course, add those parks. But even if they weren't to proceed today, as we move forward, and let's say 10 years from now they decide to move forward, the premise of those would still stand, and we would still want to consider some connections and additions to existing parks that may stand alone. And hopefully that answers your questions.
It does. Thank you. This was actually the very confusing, and I was like, oh, that looks like a whole bunch of tiny places that we would have to be worrying about discontiguous, which is, I think, part of what we really hope, and what the neighborhood really doesn't. I think the neighborhood is looking for that trail system that you alluded to. So thank you for articulating that and sharing this picture, and helps me and the neighborhood, I think, understand the future plans as well. So thank you.
Councilor Harris.
Thanks. So I just had a question about how the impact fees work. So if we don't collect the $533,000 and the developer spends that whole amount, are we still reimbursing for that, or is it only up to the amount that's actually collected based on the size of the lots?
That's a really excellent question. Councilor Harris, members of council, ultimately, because the city is under one park district, if you will, we can actually utilize any unencumbered collected fees that preceded this to pay or reimburse the developer back, and so long as all of the documentation susses out. We are not obligated to collect $533,000, if you will, in this particular neighborhood. It could have come from elsewhere and collected in the past. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yep, that does, thanks.
Councilor Bencomo.
Thanks, Catherine. I feel like you've gotten very good at reading our minds already because you knew exactly what we were going to ask, and that's why you started your presentation the way you did. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I am curious about, because you said there'll be less and less like this, but I am curious how many agreements like this are still in the docket.
So excellent question, Councilor, members of City Council. At this time, because of the approval dates on this particular project, this is really one of the last ones that you will see like this. I'm trying to think in my brain if there are any that I am forgetting, but I don't believe so. You may in the future see community parks, or if a developer goes above and beyond the minimum requirements, we may want to develop an agreement with them to reimburse them for going above and beyond the minimums. So that is a possibility in the future, but we're not quite there yet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Christine.
This is on the motion to approve Resolution 26-087. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Harris?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Munoz?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. Next is board appointments to be read into the record. Councilor Harris appointed to the ASCMV, MPO, Airport, and City Art Board. Councilor Munoz appointed to South Central Solid Waste Authority and South Central Regional Transit. Mayor Enriquez appointed to Oversight Committee. Councilor McClure appointed to Community Schools. On this next one, I'll need a second. I need a motion and a second. Dwight Eggers to the Utility Board.
Move to approve.
Second.
This is on the motion to appoint Dwight Eggers to the Utilities Board. Councilor McClure?
Yes.
Councilor Matisse?
Yes.
Councilor Harris?
Yes.
Councilor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councilor Cran?
Yes.
Councilor Munoz?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. There are no notice of proposed ordinances. We'll go to City Council member board reports and comments. I'll start with Councilor McClure.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a happy new year to everybody. I'll go quick. Welcome to the new councilors on board. And I'd like to second a call for the active transportation presentation, just to see where we are on Vision Zero efforts. I'll just give a quick story that I got stuck behind the water tank on Trevice, and I thought to myself, I can go down Griggs. I could not. It was kind of scary. So things like that, I'd like to do a challenge too to some of the people out there watching. Email me some of the desire paths you see when you're biking, those things where you wish that was there. If that'd be something that we can integrate, if we can do small, quick fixes to make our lives better on bicycles, let us know. We're not gonna know unless we're riding that route. Like I didn't know that I could get stuck behind the water tank. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Matisse?
Yeah, I just have some inquiry or question, maybe Director Widmer, maybe you could help answer it. It's on the notice that we got in with our water bills. I just maybe like more of an explanation on if that's a new process, is it an old process to where you have 3 months to not take any showers and save on water? and then your rate decreases, or is that something that is new to the utilities department? I guess just having a absence for 17 years, I don't know if it's something new.
Mayor, Councilor Matisse, Adrian Whitmer, Utilities Director. This is a normal process, has been for decades, is that the 3 winter months, essentially December, January, February, depending on where you are within your billing cycle, we take those 3 months, we average them out, and that is how you are billed for your sewer. We always do send out notices, hey, we're in the 3 months, make sure that if you don't want a high wastewater bill to go ahead and not use a lot of water. So we've, ever since I've been around, so it's been at least 20 years.
That's about right. I've been out 20 years. On the notification and the education to the public, it's just in the bills, and it's also when you're paying electronically, then the notification is in the electronic as well. Is there a, a lot of people have mentioned to me that they didn't know about this because they just do online billing, and they just pay their bill, and they're not really getting notification like you do with your 8x3 flyer.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Matisse, I will double check with my staff because I'm not familiar with the actual, when you get your electronic and you just bill it or pay it. I will double check with that. So I would assume that there would be some kind of notice along with it. It's not like they're just sending something that says, oh, and by the way, you owe X amount. But I'll double check on that, and I can inform the city manager to pass it along to you all.
Yeah, and I think it's a good program. It's a consumptive type. In other words, if they consume a lot of water for 3 months, then their rate will be higher. If they can save on the wastewater, on consumption of water, then their bill could be lower. So it'd be great that if more notification, education could get out to our, how many users do we have? How many people are hooked up to our water system?
Mr. Chairman, Councilor Matisse, we have close to 40,000.
Okay.
And so it's very typical, and the reason why we do that is because typically these winter months, not a lot of people are going outside and irrigating for their plants. So that's going to be your lowest use months, relatively. And so obviously the wastewater is for water that you're using indoors. And so that's why it's an average. So that's averaged out, and that's how it gets billed, so that you're not getting billed on like 12 months of average, or the summer months are not included. So it minimizes the amount that actually each of us pay for wastewater.
No, that's quite generous of you. So you're talking about December, January, February usage, or?
It depends on where your billing cycle is. Like, for instance, yours is mid-November to mid-February.
Okay.
So, and you can tell that by looking on your bill, and it says when your meter read date is. We'll kind of give you that idea.
Oh, that's good information.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Councilor Harris.
Thanks. I don't have a lot to report, but Happy New Year, and glad to be here, and looking forward to doing some cool stuff on council. Thanks.
Councilor Bencomo.
Thanks, Mayor. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Feliz Año Nuevo. I'm so excited to welcome our 2 new colleagues onto the council. Congratulations to Mayor Pro Tem Munoz, and of course feel deeply grateful for the 2 years I got to serve this council and the city as Mayor Pro Tem, though I do have to raise some equity issues. We're way squished over here. I had a lot of room over there, so I'm just curious why everyone's so squished. That feels like a serious equity issue we must address. So, thank you. I think one of the things I really have been thinking about lately that I that I wanted to make sure to talk about today was the tragic pedestrian deaths that occurred in December, and I just feel like those messages are more and more frequent, and really feel like it's a urgent matter for us to start thinking more seriously about how we address that. And you know, I'm planning on talking about this at our budget retreat, which I'm very excited about. And of course, the public is invited to that. The media is invited to that. Come see how the sausage gets made, and you know who is, you know, shows up ready to do the work. So that's a very exciting time for all of us, and hope that some of you can tune in or stop by. But I did want to just lift that up about the pedestrian deaths. That's very concerning. And, you know, just a reminder for some, I am still here, just a couple chairs down. Thank you.
Councilor Correct. Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to my new and old colleagues. And I mean that in the proximate to getting elected, not age related. I'm so glad that you all are here and looking forward to working with you. I did want to just really quick, I also support the idea of an active transportation, pedestrian safety, cyclist safety discussion. I would love, and I will include this in my budget priorities. I know that residents really want to feel safe on our streets, and I really would like for us to think systematically about that. And I think whatever kind of conversation we might have, if it's active transportation discussion, pedestrian safety, neighborhood traffic calming, all of that I think are really connected together, and thinking about engineering our way into a safer city for those aspects. My residents are that was the single biggest thing that people talked about on the campaign trail, was their streets and the safety of their neighbors within their neighborhoods, and the risk to pedestrians. So I support my colleagues in requesting that follow-up action. And I also just want to follow up really quickly. There was someone who, and I did miss the chance, who was here to talk about the ASCMV. I do understand that there's a petition going that will come to the next ASCMV meeting, but I just wanted to sort of talk about a few specific things related to that. The ASCMV spay and neuter, as you heard earlier, is one part of our big picture. The Spay and Neuter Action Program is a community organization that works very tirelessly on building that capacity. The ASCMV is something different, and it is our municipal shelter that just takes in every animal that individuals drop off or that are found by animal control, the two largest portions of how animals arrive there. First coming strays from animal control, and second, people dropping off strays or abandoning their animals. And they do have an enormous intake for any community. There are a lot of statistics on the ASCMV website. Specifically, she asked about things like euthanasia rate, live release rate, what happens to animals when they go in the shelter. And I did just want to bring up a few things. When I first came to Las Cruces, the Animal Services Center was putting to sleep about 8,000 animals per year, which is, that was 2009, so 9,345 animals were put to sleep at the ASCMV in 2009, and in 2024, I said 9,345, right? Yes. 2,609 animals were put to sleep at the shelter, and I'm not saying that that's an acceptable number. I'm not saying that any number is an acceptable number, but just to put some context on the ways that the shelter is trying to solve the problem of huge numbers of animals arriving there. They have worked really dynamically and tried to address this issue in community and in as many ways as they possibly can. So I just sort of wanted to speak to the fact that the folks at the shelter are working extraordinarily hard to get animals out of there alive, and we had an executive director who left, and we've been with an interim executive director, and we have a new person coming on hopefully within about a month. Stephanie Lewis, who I know will get to make some of these decisions. She's really well versed in a lot of the sort of best practices from across the nation. She's coming to us with an experience in both municipal sheltering and rescue background and an accounting degree or business degree. So she knows a lot of the aspects of the ASCMV inside and out and will be making a lot of decisions related to that. So all of that to say, folks who are here thinking about the ASCMV, first of all, I hope that you would check out the website under, or who are anywhere thinking about the ASCMV, not here, the one individual that was here isn't here anymore. I meant to go talk to her before she left. But under who we are on the ASCMV's website, at the very bottom, there are two things, annual reports and statistics that are updated in different degrees of timeliness, including a very up-to-date statistics page that includes euthanasia rates that come at our quarterly meeting. Our next quarterly meeting will be next Thursday at January 16th. So folks are welcome to come to that, but I do just sort of want to speak to the idea that, one, the ASCMV is working really hard to address these issues in our community, and two, that we have a new executive director coming on who's going to take us to the next level, I believe, of humane sheltering and taking care of animals in our community. So I understand all the issues that go into that, and I appreciate the passion of the community, but I just want to direct folks to a few resources that they might not be able to see otherwise. So I hope to see anyone who's concerned about that to come to the meeting next week. And I think that's all I'll have to say for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Munoz.
Well, usually I'm not at a loss for words, but you got me today. So thank you all. I want to say first, Happy New Year, Feliz Año Nuevo, and auguri e buon anno a tutti. So it's from my Italian speakers as well. So I also want to thank the voters who went out and voted in the last election. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to do so. I want to also thank you, those that supported and voted for me. It's my honor, and I will do my best. And also wanted to thank the council for their vote. I can tell you that Pro Tem Bencomo Emeritus, those are big shoes to fill, and you've been a force on council, and I look forward to working with you and the councilors as well. So thank you, gracias. And with that, I want to say, working together is difficult. It's not easy. It's easier to destroy. It's easier to criticize. It's easier to fight. The approach that I see with council here and the mix of our new council, I know we have different paths, but I know we all want to get there together for Las Cruces. And we'll have our discussions, we'll have our different paths, but I know that we will come together. There's several things that I'd like to work on next year, in the next 4 years as well, is a holistic approach to community safety, from behavioral health to structured programs, housing, wraparound services, and tools for law enforcement and our first responders. I want residents to be and to feel safe. I want our youth in our community to thrive. I'd also want to look at a comprehensive platform on collecting resident concerns, questions, and ideas, like lighting in parks, like potholes, so that we can get them all in one comprehensive platform so we can make data-based decisions. Very simply explained, if contractor A reports 10 potholes at the end of the year and contractor B reports 1,000 at the end of the year, maybe we should not do business with contractor B. Simple as that. But definitely a way for us to be more open, more transparent with governance and add accountability just for trends. And this is something that I want to work with the city manager. I know he's doing a great job with he and his team and subject matter experts, but this just adds a layer of operational visibility. And of course, I mentioned electrification. I'm supportive of that and want to make sure that as a council and from my perspective that we're also being supportive. I want to work with economic development and our in-house economic economists. I want to work with he, she, or they to help create jobs and to bring needed revenue to the city as well. So I'm excited about that piece. Overall, I think that we're a good community. We have our issues, and there's issues that we can work out together. We see each other at the mall, at movies, at the gym, at Roberto's, more so for me at Roberto's. But, we're about 1,700 miles away from Washington, D.C. This is our community. What we do or don't do affects each and one of our families, our spouses, our friends. And so I'm looking for brighter days ahead in Las Cruces. And thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Munoz. Just a couple of things. I just want to, again, wish everyone a Happy New Year. Kicked it off this year at the Chili Drop, which was a great event. 2,000-3,000 people that were there to participate in the Chili Drop, and want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Munoz for being a partner with Main Street Las Cruces, who helped coordinate that event, also the sponsors, Nucinda Bank, but more importantly, just the partnership and the working together with NMSU, the NMSU engineering program. After 12 years, this was the 12th year of the Chili Drop. It was a new chili, and it was redone, re-engineered, lit up with LED lights, and was really a crowd, was really a crowd pleaser. And we want to thank the students from NMSU and the engineering staff that allowed that to happen. It was a great event. So just looking forward to, as everybody mentioned, looking to work together to have a prosperous and thriving Las Cruces in 2026. Thank you. I'll turn it over to the city manager now.
Thank you, Mayor Enriquez, and City Council, Ikanin Tamupiao, City Manager, and just a few announcements, and we'll let you on your way. Regarding the Walnut Skate Park situation, City of Las Cruces is very aware of the frustration in the community regarding the skate park, and the update is that we set our standards super high as a community and as a city organization, providing the community with a skate park that meets industry standards for safety and longevity. Our legal team has been in communication with the vendor, Spawn Ranch, and continues to seek solutions to these issues. Due to the possibility of litigation, the city cannot comment further at this time. Regarding the East Mesa Rec Complex, I did want to share that with the public comment that came, although we do have the closure of this skate park, we do have a new skate park that opened, and I want to let all the community know that it is at the East Mesa Rec Complex. It has been recently constructed, and it is currently open, although we haven't promoted it because there's construction with other amenities surrounding this skate park, so it's very difficult to access safely. And so it is something that is open if anyone does want to get some skating in. We hope to have a ribbon cutting late spring, April timeframe, but we'll keep you posted, Mayor and Council. Additionally, there was a public comment regarding the Safety for All RFP update. It is currently under negotiation with the vendor and anticipating completion and award at the end of this month, and project will commence shortly after that. Regarding Mershite Recreation Center, it is true, it is sad, racquetball courts are closed. Full disclosure, I use the racquetball courts, but not for racquetball. $5 an hour you can pay for volleyball, and so that's what I do there, but it is closed. I am also disappointed too, but for great reason. Mershite is undergoing renovation, so storage is being utilized for our recreation center, which is from the 1960s. And to the next note, it's about 8 weeks, 2 to 3 months wait for the weight room and the racquetball courts to reopen. I did want to use that as a diving board into the next topic that council is considering various capital improvement projects, including rec centers and upgrading rec centers and new rec centers, and that'll come at the budget retreat later this month. So just wanted to share there's a lot of projects that council is considering at this time. Two more. Economic development, we are happy to announce that Endurance Technology has chosen Las Cruces Innovation and Industrial Park for their expansion. They are a Canadian company that did a nationwide search and chose us, Las Cruces, to expand into the U.S. and will bring 41 new jobs and $17.5 million in capital investment. So great job to Liz, Selena, and the Economic Development team. Thank you so much. And last but not least, I echo the excitement from Visit Las Cruces and Rochelle and the enthusiasm to, if you haven't been, January 16th to 18th, please join the Mesilla Valley Balloon Rally. Bring your photos. It is a marvelous sight. And want to say thank you to Rochelle, Liz, and Sergio, and the team on bringing this back to Cruces. It is what I have heard several times, and I'll say that it is a fact. Might be a myth, but I don't know. The Mesilla, they're saying that the balloon rally actually started here and then went up north. Do you know if that's true? Yeah. I'll say it's true, okay? So it started here, and then we said, you know, go up north, but now we're bringing it back, and we appreciate Visit Las Cruces doing a great job, so thank you to our team on that. And with that, back to you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. With that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
This is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Councillor McClure?
Yes.
Councillor Matisse?
Yes.
Councillor Harris?
Yes.
Councillor Bencomo?
Yes.
Councillor Corian?
Yes, sorry. I was sitting there just earlier today, sorry.
Councillor Munoz?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes.